Hey, 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 happy Monday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com. Come on in, it's Monday. We got a brand new week starting. This is episode 301. Yes, 301 of The Daily Dope. We celebrated episode 300 last Thursday, so that was a lot of fun. Had a good crowd turn up, I should say, to tune in live. So that was very, very cool. So tonight is actually Monday, May 13th, 2019. I'm actually going to be taking a first look at a game that is coming to Kickstarter on June 5th. That is the planned start date for this Kickstarter for Shaolia. That's taking a guess at the pronunciation. Shaolia, Warring States. This is from Bad Comet Games. It's for 2 to 4 players. And I'm going to unbox it, dive in, and take a peek to see what we've got cooking. Hey, all right, Robert Moffat's popping into chat already. Very good. Speaking of chat, do want to point out, this is a live stream. This is a very casual show. It's a little bit different than probably many of the tabletop gaming shows you watch. For one, because it's live, unscripted, just hanging out. There's chat available. It is through YouTube. Do want to point out, it is not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the stranger commenters at bay, but I do pay attention to chat. So if you'd like to say hello, or maybe you have a question, or possibly there's something about Shaolia that you want to take a closer look at as we dive in, by all means, chime in. I will respond. Dan from No Enemies here is chiming in too, so good going. So we're off and running. So did want to mention no news tonight, mainly because I do believe Bad Comet's going to want to use this video to kind of promote their Kickstarter. So the easier it is for them to kind of jump right into the unboxing and first look, the better. Tabletop Gaming News will return tomorrow night. So as I mentioned, last Thursday was episode 300 of The Daily Dope. I know people were like, what? I know. I was sort of like, what? So very cool. So we're on our way to our next 300 episodes. Gotta say, watched last night's Game of Thrones. I am not going to be spoiling anything, but holy shnikes. I don't know. There are a lot of people very, very upset about the penultimate episode of Game of Thrones. I am not one of them. Kind of hinted at what happened last night for a while now. Not just this season, but previous to this season. But yeah, I'm kind of curious. I have absolutely no idea how they're going to wrap this up. So, but yeah, a lot of outcry from folks today about the episode of Game of Thrones. A lot of people have been complaining about the season itself. And yes, I agree. It feels like everything's kind of rushed, seeing that there are only 6 episodes, even though the episodes are running about hour 10, hour 20 minutes. But yeah, everything seems kind of rushed. It's sort of like, hey, we're at this place right now, and then boom, all of a sudden it's like, we're halfway around the world, and it's 5 minutes later. And there's no obvious kind of like sequence to tell you that time has passed. So anyway, I don't know. So Robert Moffat says, Game of Thrones, is that a show? It's a musical. It's actually a live musical that airs Sunday nights on Bravo. It's pretty popular. Pretty popular. So anywho, as I mentioned, I'm not all upset about the episode. I was shocked. I'd be the first to admit. I was like, what? But could see it coming. Anyway, do want to also point out that I am running a contest for one lucky subscriber to win my copy of Ghosts of Saltmarsh for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. This is the limited edition. So these usually go for about $100 to $120 on the secondary market. Of course, this is not out in stores yet. It will be available on May 21st. I am giving my copy away, and all you simply have to do is, first of all, I have to hit 2,000 subscribers. Still a ways off from that, but if I do hit the 2,000 subscribers, as long as you comment on essentially any video from the 13th through the 20th, you are in the running. I will choose one lucky subscriber, and I will actually ship this anywhere in the world within reason. It's like I said before, I don't think people in Iran are really watching this show. So anyway, I did want to point out that we do have the contest. I will actually announce the winner on May 21st because a week from today, there will not be an episode of the Daily Dope. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. A lot of crazy things are kind of cooking right now. I shouldn't say crazy, just unusual events are taking place. So, what's coming up this week on the show? Well, of course, as I mentioned, tonight we're doing an unboxing. We're going to be diving in. On tomorrow's show, I am going to review Mystic Vale from AEG. Yes, I'm finally going to review Mystic Vale. And then as a little bonus, we're actually going to unbox and take a first look at the Harmony expansion, which I think is hitting stores this week. Or it may have hit it last week. I will check before we dig in. But we have a new expansion for Mystic Vale. So we will take a first look at this on top of my review. Then Wednesday is Wargame Wednesday. Change things up a little bit. We are actually going to take a first look. I am going to unbox Combat Commander Europe from GMT Games. Yes, this is a Chad Jensen design. This is good stuff. I have actually reviewed this, so I have never actually done a video for it. So that is on Wednesday's show. Thursday, I was already talking about Ghosts of Saltmarsh. I will be reviewing it. Of course, we'll be paging through the standard cover, standard edition. This will be on Thursday's show. Then on Friday, I will review Things from the Flood. So we're doing some back-to-back on RPG action this week. Then next Monday, there will not be a show, mainly because my nephew Cameron's graduating from high school, and his graduation party is going to be Sunday night. So I don't know if I'll be, hungover or not. So I figure I'm planning in advance, and I'm just going to say there won't be a show on the 20th, but I will be back on the 21st to review Traveler Ascension Imperial Warrant. Yes, I know there are quite a few people who've been waiting for my review of this, so that will be a week from tomorrow. So, Dan from No Enemies here says, Things from the Flood, great cover. Yeah, this is Simon Stalin. I believe it's pronounced Stalinhog. The games, both Tales from the Loop as well as Things from the Flood, are all based on his artwork, his kind of like science fiction worlds that he creates. So, all right, before we jump into the unboxing, do want to point out it's time for me to mention Lil Bub. Yes, here comes Lil Whiz Bub. Oh yeah. So if you're a fan of the Daily Dope, if you visit thegaminggang.com, you already know that it's pretty much a not-for-profit production here. So if you do like the show, if you do like the website, please consider making a small donation to Lil Bub's Big Fund and the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Yes, Lil Bub's Big Fund does provide grant monies to organizations throughout the United States who care for special needs animals who are awaiting adoption. We are not talking about kill shelters, anything like that. We are talking about organizations who care for special needs animals, be they blind or deaf or have mobility issues or require medications, what have you. these animals do deserve a loving home. And I can tell you from past experience that when you adopt an animal from a shelter, special needs or not, they will pay you back that love you give them tenfold. So, just want to point out, if you like the show, if you like the website, please consider making a small donation to Lil Bub's Big Fund. All right, so we are going to take a look at, I believe it's pronounced Shaolia. Not positive, taking a shot. So we're going to take a look at Shaolia. Warning states it's from Bad Comet Games, which I believe is out of South Korea. It's designed by Hanny Chang and Gunho Kim, with artwork provided by Sophia Kang. The game is for 2 to 4 players, ages 12 and up, plays in around 30 to 60 minutes. It is coming to Kickstarter on June 5th. Let's move on over to the other camera because I will be the first one to point out I have not looked at this. I have not touched this. Well, I touched it. I picked it up to hold it in front of the camera, right? But I have not taken a peek at anything to do with this. So I had to point out, the artwork looks pretty cool. Although, for some strange reason, the soldiers here have kind of almost like a cartoony look to them. I'm going to put the old reading specs on. I'm going to flip this on over. So we actually have kind of two covers. Over on Board Game Geek, this is the artwork that they're utilizing like as the main cover artwork. But on the box here, that is the main cover artwork. And I do see on the box a little information that's different than my sell sheet info. It says ages 13 and up, not 12 and up. All right, so let me grab a quick sip here. And we will crack this open. I will mention, I did not see a website for Bad Comet Games. I saw a Twitter, they've got, I believe, a Twitter page and a Facebook page, or maybe it's just Facebook. So I did reach out to one of the creators who would contact me to take a look at this, and I pointed out, it's probably a good idea to have a website, not just have a Facebook page. Because that is something that a lot of gamers, yeah, they'll back off on actually supporting a crowdfunding project. Because I don't know, to me it just seems a little weird if you don't have a website. Obviously enough, this is going to be a prototype. So first off, let's take a look at this rulebook here. And the rulebook even says it's a prototype. So let's take a quick peek through. There's our artwork once again. So chaos has erupted on the continent of Shaolia. The lords from each region have risen up to claim the title of emperor. Wars both large and small are breaking out over the continent. Now it's your turn as one of the most talented leaders in Shaolia to establish a brilliant strategy, build up your territory, and face off against every opponent with one ultimate goal in mind: become the new ruler. This is a fast-paced game filled with deadly tactical and strategic decisions. In this game, you'll fill your territory using dozens of unique buildings and character with all kinds of fantastic abilities. A little misprint there. It should be characters. Your territory can be a wealthy trade city, a culturally flourishing city, a military land power, or something totally new. It's all up to you. Okay, so got a little introduction from the company. So we've got prepare to play. So it's showing us the components here. Talking about setting up the game. And I think, I'm not positive, but I think each of the players get one of these boards here because that's what they're creating their city with. I think. I am not positive. Like I said, I have not cracked this open. I have not cheated by taking a peek at this prior to doing the video here. So talking about the setup here. So it looks like we've got some sort of is this kind of a marketplace for cards? Could be. I'm talking about the gameplay. Objective of the game, 2 ways to win. Deal 12 damage to your opponent's palace, which I guess is his location here. and destroy it or achieve 18 culture score. I guess that's the gauge for counting up your culture. In each round, you have 3 phases. Purchase phase, purchase cards and resources. Building phase, build the purchase cards on the territory board. Action phase, roll the dice and activate cards built on the territory board. So we got level 1 cards, level 2 cards, we got some dice, we got officers. We got the building phase, the action phase. An example of the action phase. Card ability. Well, we have to admit, there is loads and loads of illustrations to go along with the rules here. So we've got some examples as well. Action command. Card class. Gold cards. Mineral cards. Culture cards. Attack cards. Defense cards. Trade cards. So 6 different kinds of cards. So that's an attack token, life token, blockage token. Okay. And then we've got character cards. Okay. Now talking about the different game modes. So we've got a custom game. So we've got a 1 player versus 1 player here. Kind of strange how the artwork kind of changes though. So the art style. So here we've got very, very almost like super deformed look to these characters here. But then when we go back to the chapter, you know, the first page of each chapter, we get a little chapter header. Completely different art style. So that's a little strange. But it looks like this is the art style for the cards too. So we'll find out. We're going to look at the cards in just a moment. So we've got 1 player versus 1 player. Another 1 player versus 1 player. Okay, so this is head-to-head still. What else we got? That's head-to-head. Okay, 2 versus 2. The Alliance. So I guess mainly it looks like we've got 4 different modes of play for head-to-head and a 2-on-2 variant as well. And then we get an encyclopedia talking about each of the cards. Alright, cool. So all in all, we got 35 pages of rules, but honestly, there's loads and loads of images and things here, so should be pretty easy to get a grasp of. Okay, so we've got that. Next, we've got some punch boards. Actually, these are pretty thick, though. Once again, this is a prototype. So I'm taking a guess. I think these are gold coins here. So I've got those. Actually, kind of like the way the artwork is done, because it gives it almost a little bit of a 3D effect to these. All right, then we've got we saw these are like attack tokens, life tokens, and locked tokens. So what do we got here? All right, so we got another board here. And let's see what we got. Aha, so here we've got the boards that each of the players will have. So this is where we're going to lay out our cards for our city. This is the palace where we take those hits. And then this is the culture track right here. So are these all identical? Yes, they are all identical. So we got 4 of those. All right, so we got that. We got the 4 player boards. This is, I believe this is where we put the different cards to be purchased. Go on this board here. All right, let's see what else we've got. Got some goodies here. So we have got a little red. These are little red hearts. So I wonder if this is showing us we've got the tokens here. I wonder if you could also use these instead. I'm not sure. Not positive. So we've got those. We've got looks like this is kind of like the first player marker here. It's kind of cool. We got a wooden flag with a stand. I think these are supposed to be like minerals Well, we got two different colors. We got light blue and dark blue. So maybe maybe the light blue is like 1 and the darker blue represents something like maybe 3, something like that. I'm not sure. All right, so it looks like we've got some other tokens here. That's kind of cool. Kind of interesting. Not sure what that's supposed to be. Almost looks like a lantern. So we got those. Got a bunch of 6-sided dice. It's like, whoa. How big is the single pip? Look at that. It's like, wow. Okay, so we've got the 6-sided dice. And then we've got, I thought these were supposed to be almost like soldiers or something like that, or your leaders. So, little meeple like that. Hey, I have to admit, I kind of dig the cuts for these meeples. The designs for the meeples are pretty cool. So then we've got some little cards here. Got a few different cards there. We got another deck here. We got player aids, so it looks like we've got 4 player aids. And then we're going to zoom in a little bit so we can get a better look at these cards. First off, as we can see here, player aid is showing... Let's back that up a little bit. This is for 2 players on 2 players, and this is head-to-head. So it's saying purchase phase, building phase, action phase, telling you what you can do. All right, so we got those. Now let's open up some of these cards here. So this looks like like forest cards, and it looked like. All right, come on. This is some plastic on here that is just like vacuum sealed. I can tell you that right now. I always hate when it's like this. Because you got to try to be careful you're not going to nick the cards. Or cut yourself either. There we go. I think we got some. Got a bit of it here. There we go. Anyway, I thought we'd take these and we put them on the... It looked like we put them on the board. Looks like we've got... Yeah, they're all the same. I guess we've got 8 of them. But it looked as if, when I was taking a peek at the rules, that we actually take like a forest card and put one here, put one here. Oops. So we got it on this side, like this, then up here. And it looks like you have to pay to unlock these. So basically you'd be paying to have the forest cut down, have them chopped down. So we got, looks like 8 of those. Now we've got this little bitty, these little cards here. I'm not sure what these could be. This is biculture. Maybe, oh, come on, you. Try not to stab myself with this hobby knife, too. Come on. There we go. I will point out, and you know, as I mentioned, this is a prototype. The cardstock is kind of thin. It is kind of thin. Yeah. So Bob Moffat says that these dice with the huge single pips, he's like, yeah, there'd be some serious snake eyes. Yeah, you could actually put a little paint in there and make them actual eyes. Okay, so we got biculture, cell culture, buy attack token, buy blockage token, gain officer. That's what these are. They're officers. These little brown guys. Those are officers. So gain officer, buy turn. And these, so is this something that you purchase? You have to purchase these actions that this is what you're going to do. So it looks like 3, 4, 1, 5. So it looks, and it says max 3, like maybe you can only do it 3 times. I'm not positive. I'm not sure. So we got those. Then we got another small deck. Looks like these might be heroes or characters, or could even be monsters. I don't know, because I see there's a giant. Is what I just saw. Let's see what we got here. Come on. Jeez. Like I said, I really hate when you get the plastic and it's like shrink wrapped on there so tight. So we got a giant, got a philosopher. Yeah, these are the characters. Strategist, general, alchemist, shaman, rich baby. Okay. Captain, architect, and a merchant. So it's kind of like, which one of these just doesn't seem to fit in, right? So, okay, so those are the characters. I have to admit, I mean, and I'm not blowing any smoke, this game does look like it could be pretty interesting. So, it's like, oh gosh, where is it? Because off the top of my head, I'm not thinking of Shifting Realm from Soaring Rhino Games. When I first unboxed that, I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then I was reading the rules. I'm like, wow, they've got all these different, just all these different kind of like mechanisms. I'm like, how are these all going to fit together? And amazingly enough, really well, because it's a really cool game. Really enjoyed it. Yes, Rich Baby. I don't know, Rob. So, we've got Blacksmith. So we got a few of these. Got a lot of those. Barricades. And of course, looking at your board, you only have 8 spaces. And I guess you got 6 until you chop down those forests. So we got markets, school, gets you culture, infantry. So these are attack cards. Well, no, they're not attack cards. I guess these are basically... So if you roll a 2, you deal damage. Roll a 3 on this one, a 4 on that one, 5 on that one, 6 on this one, and a 1. So looks like a few infantry cards. We got a farm. Farms give you gold. All right, so these are the different locales. Oh, I bet you these are like level 1. Because there's like 2 levels. I bet you this is level 1. And these are going to be level 2. Find out. Blacksmith or smelter. Yeah, I would take a guess these are probably like the level 2s. So we got those. We got mines. Gain minerals before rolling dice. Wall. Swamp. Almost looks like a prison. With the little guy in the cell. Okay, so we got the swamp there. Fortress. As we see, we get some new items down on the bottom, some abilities, it looks like, which we didn't really see on the level 1s that much. Or it looks like we get a couple of things on these higher level. We got a gym. I'm going to take a guess this is probably a prerequisite that you need infantry or cavalry to have the gym. Here's cavalry. The catapult. A fleet. War elephants. Well, that's kind of wild. And then it even has like a border around it. I wonder if that's like a promo card. The war elephants. School or temple for the temple. So you're probably figuring, well, okay, so if these are supposed to be the prerequisites, it says school or temple, but this is a temple. I would assume it's like if you're building a second temple. So you could build a second temple if you already have the one temple. Now, I could be completely wrong. I'm just going with my gut. We got a garden. We got theater. Ancestral Valley. Valley's not spelled correctly, though. If it's supposed to be a valley, as in Valley, V-A-L-L-E-Y. As I mentioned, this game, I do believe this company is out of South Korea, so... library, ranch, dressing. No, just a ranch. A bank. I notice we have fewer of these too. So I think these are fewer of each. So I think these really are the level 2. Market report for the ports. And we got a caravan. I think that should be it. Yep. So we've got what appears to be the level 2 cards. Plus the level 1 cards. Plus we've got the forest cards. And then we got the characters. So we got the characters here. So these are the bigger square cards. Then we got these little cards. We got these little cards here. You know what? I'm going to actually divide these up. Otherwise, everything's not going to fit in here. So we also have, I believe these are the officers. Minerals. These might be the little heart tokens. You might be replacing the life tokens here. Or these could be what you use to mark damage to the palace, the other palace that you're trying to destroy. And we got these other markers here, which I am not positive what those do. More minerals. Got a bunch of 6-sided dice with huge single pips. 4 player aids, 2-sided for head-to-head and 2-player. We've got 4 player boards. Look like so. That fold up. Oops. Forgot the huge, like, first player marker with the big flag. Pop that back on in here. Well, maybe not. Jeez. There we go. That'll fit now. We also have the, where I believe we put out some of the cards for you to purchase. Either to purchase, or maybe these are the actions that the action cards go into for you to purchase those actions. And a couple of punch boards of tokens. We've got the rule book, and that is what we find when we take everything from Shaolia outside the box. As I mentioned before, this is coming to Kickstarter on June 5th. I, of course, will have a review of it before it hits Kickstarter. So, fingers crossed that it's pretty interesting. It does, I mean, it looks like it could be a pretty interesting 2-on-2 or head-to-head kind of game. So, So I would say my review should be up, I would say maybe end of next week. I'll do my best to get it end of next week or into the week after that. Another thing I do want to point out, the end of the month, I will not be in town from around the 28th or so. I'm actually going out to Arizona so I can move my mom back to the Chicago area. So I get to drive the truck. Yay! So anyway, all right. So that is it for today's show. I know, a little shorter than usual, but like I said, I'm pretty sure that Bad Comet Games is going to want to use the video for to show off the components and everything. So, but try to make it a little shorter and not do the tabletop gaming news, which I said is going to return tomorrow. So, as I always like to point out, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. By now you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. On tomorrow's show, I will be reviewing Mystic Vale from Alderac Entertainment Group and taking a first look at the Harmony expansion. So that is on tomorrow's show. So until then, enjoy the rest of your Monday night. Everybody in chat, thank you so much for popping in, kind of keeping me company. And of course, if you're watching live or if you're watching on Memorex, thank you very much for watching. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.